So if you can use pain to your advantage in this sense, anyways, we'll talk way more about this if we do an episode
consent.
on it. Yeah, of course.
Sure
this is something you talk about beforehand. Like, hey, I need
He's
you
close.
to
I'm gonna hurt him. Hi there, you're listening to the Kingdom Sexuality podcast. We're Alana, Kyle, and Tira, friends who have a heart for intimacy and long to uncover God's truth and design for sexual freedom within marriage. If you enjoy listening to our episodes or like our content over on Instagram, would you consider leaving a review or subscribing? It really helps. Welcome here.
Welcome back to another episode of the Kingdom Sexuality podcast. If you are new here, my name is Kyle, and I am joined by two beautiful co-hosts, Tira and Alana. If you're a patron and you're listening, thank you for your support, and a special welcome to you guys. If you're new, again, our patrons get some freebies, they get extra discounts, they get to vote on what episodes we do, and we just share all the stuff with them. So you can head over to patreon.com/Kingdom Sexuality if you want to check that out. And if you are not in our Facebook group, you need to be there. It is a happening place right now. Just search Kingdom Sexuality Podcast Community on Facebook and you will find us. All right. Today's verse, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. So we're talking about leveling up, doing new things today. Yeah. So we did a foundational series recently, and so we're going to kind of build on top of that. So now that you've built a hopefully strong and healthy foundation for your sex life, it's time to, if you want to, level up and take some steps into the unknown, if you will. But if you haven't listened to the foundations episode or the fundamentals episode, go back, episode 221, listen to that one first because it'll give you a good foundation because this episode is going to just build on top of that one. All right? Ladies, what do you think?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Level up.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to be clear before we get started, if you guys are cool where things at and things are going great, you're chugging along, you guys are both serving one another selflessly and the pleasure is high and the connection is there, great. Like, don't feel like you have to go do this crazy new thing just because we're doing an episode on it or whatever. Like, if you love how things are going right now, stick with it. If you love it, but you want to know what else is out there, keep listening. This is the episode for you.
And you can always save this episode for later too. Like if you're newlywed and you're like, oh man, I don't know if I'm ready to go more than what we already are doing. Like it's crazy enough right now. You can save it for later. Know that this episode is here whenever you're ready. If you ever want to go there, and we're not guilting you into like, what, you're so vanilla, you can't go into these. No, absolutely not. So
that's a great point. Yeah. Good little bit there. So we've just broken these down into like level 1, 2, 3. If you want, you could also call it like basic, intermediate, advanced, but the episode's called Leveling Up Your Sex Life. So we're going to go level 1, 2, 3. All right. So level 1 is kind of like, okay, you've built this strong foundation. Now what can you do kind of with that foundation? How can you work with it and kind of move it forward a little bit? So the focus here is kind of, okay, we're going to work on our communication around sex, around intimacy. We're going to make sure we have a really strong emotional bond, that there's lots of emotional safety there. And then it's going to set the stage for going even deeper. So I think we got, what have we got? Like 6, 7 things here? 8 things here. So again, if this is like super basic for you, feel free to fast forward. But I think there's probably still something for everyone in each of these levels.
And I would say, I would encourage you actually not to fast forward because you may be a mentor to another couple. You may like, these are good things to review to be like, oh yeah, I forgot we did that in the beginning or all of that. It's just good to review so that you can share it with somebody else too.
Good point. Don't fast forward.
Scratch that.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
Okay. Alana, start us off.
All right. Number 1 is pray together about your intimacy. 1 second. Okay. Before or after intimacy, just take some time to invite the Lord into your connection together. I was talking about this recently with Tira, and we were just talking about how especially if there's stuff in your past that you're maybe working through if there's been trauma, or you guys have both maybe been in a season of misconnection or busyness. So I feel like this is level all of them. Like, I feel like this should be happening all the time, no matter what. And whether it's like before or after intimacy, or just throughout your day, maybe it's before bed or first thing in the morning, you guys be like, okay, Lord, like, thank you for our marriage, and help us to grow together, that we be connected and we would stay as a team no matter what comes our way today. And that, you know, our intimate life would go to the next level. Like, show us how, or what you have for us and for our marriage, and how we can bless marriages around us. So maybe it's a level 1, but I feel like this, even for someone who's like, whatever, do it and see how it will level up your sex life.
Yeah.
And your marriage in general.
Yeah, absolutely. This is like foundational part of marriage, not just intimacy.
Totally.
Yeah.
And a lot of couples, I feel like, a lot of couples don't pray together, right? Like, it's a super vulnerable thing. We've talked about it in our spiritual intimacy series, and a lot of couples don't do it. It's never been a part. So if it hasn't, like, this is a great time to start.
Yeah. Growing up, were you guys ever like told, because praying is such an intimate thing, you know, like when you're dating and stuff, did you pray together, or was that like, ooh, that's really like it's almost too intimate for being just dating? Like, you could pray on your own about your relationship and about whoever you were dating, but to actually pray together, did you guys ever
I don't know if anyone
told that or anything? Or
I feel like I've heard that, but I don't know if I heard that when we were dating, because I feel like we prayed together. We were in Bible school together, so I feel like it was
normal.
You know, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was interesting because as you, I haven't really thought about that until this moment. Like, you know what, I feel like I don't think we were really encouraged to pray together, because it was like, ooh, that's, you know, like you save that for when you're like engaged or when you're married, because that's such an intimate thing. And maybe that was just, I don't necessarily remember being told that. It's kind of like one of those purity culture things that comes down the line that you're like, wait a second,
where did I hear that?
Why did I think that? Anyway, and then when you get married, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, now I get to pray together. And if you haven't already built that foundation, and
now you don't know
it's
how.
normal, now it's like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what to say now that you're listening. So I was just thinking maybe that's one of the reasons why couples often don't pray together, is because they hadn't even leading up to marriage.
No, we prayed together. But we had both just come out of like 5-year relationships, and we pretty much knew from the get-go we were going to get married. It was like, right off the hop.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go to step number 2, affirmation and encouragement exercises. You know, you guys can take turns speaking, like, let's say, pick 5 things that you love about your spouse's body and their presence. So not sexual necessarily, but just things that you really like about their bodies. And you can do this together, even you could do it naked if you want. It doesn't have to be, but just appreciating, even just going through your body parts and just thanking God for who he made your spouse to be and how beautiful each part is. Often for women, this is a hard thing to accept about ourselves. You know, if your husband says, you know, your love handles look great, they love them, you know, your first thought is probably like, oh yeah, he's just saying that. But no, like, try to actually appreciate everything that he's saying, and also appreciate, like, bring it to God about, like, okay, God, you made me this way. This is where I'm at right now. Like, thank you for that I'm still alive and breathing, and that this is who I am, and help me to be grateful for every inch of my body.
And if your spouse's love language is words of affirmation, even though it might seem insignificant to you, it will mean a lot to them.
Yeah.
Like, I know even for myself, we have like a group chat with my family. I had sent a picture of one of my kids was painting. And Jeff sent me a text just in our own messages and was like, you're a really great mom.
Aww.
And even that, I screenshotted it. I was like, it was really simple. It was whatever. But in the moment, I was like, thank you. Like, that I felt seen, I felt valued, and it was super simple. It wasn't anything humongous. It was just, he noticed that I was taking the time to do something that my kids love. And so he was like, you're a great mom. Thank you for all you do. And I was like, So it can be something like that. Like send a text. If you think about them, you're like, oh, I love when you make the bed. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just call them out and be like, I love that you did that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And I think it's cool to be able to have something written down too. Like even if you two just sit together and go like, okay, we're going to write some things that we love about each other without seeing each other's list, you know?
Jeff actually hates when I do this. Right before bed, I'm always like, tell me something you love about me. Like right before bed, you know, like, yeah, Kyle's rolling his eyes. He knows exactly. This happens to people. People do this. And I get squirrely right before bed. And so that's
I
when
think
we're like,
all women do. Haven't you seen all of the
no, I feel
latest?
like Kyle said they're the other way around at one point, right? Or no?
What?
Does Kyle get squirrely before, or does Sam get squirrely, or do you?
Sam does. What she does though is, because we're a scheduled sex couple, it'll be a sex night and we'll get into bed and she'll just start talking about like anything. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, can we maybe like
How are we gonna pivot
get to the
from
good
this
stuff? And can we do that? Can we talk after? I'm like, oh, every single time. But it's her way to just offload. So then she's got the mental space to be present during sex. So I get it. But every single time, it's so funny.
So choose a good time to talk, because for me, it's always like heads on the pillow and Jeff instantly will close his eyes because he's instantly going to fall asleep. And I'm like, so what do you love about me? And he's like, Alana, can we not do this right now? So know your spouse, pick a good time, because I always pick the worst time.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3, non-sexual touch. So take a period of time where you and your spouse are going to commit to, like, sounds weird to say commit to no sex, but like focus on the non-sexual touch. So back rubs, non-lip kisses, cuddles. I want to say massage, but for too many people that'll lead to sex, so maybe not massage. But all those non-sexual things, focus on that part of the physical connection, right? I think there's a difference between physical intimacy and sexual intimacy, and this can be the physical intimacy. So it also, if one spouse always feels pressured to have sex, or if one spouse feels like, oh, I feel bad because I'm never giving enough, this just removes that pressure, right? Yeah. I know that sex is off the table. I can focus on the connection through all these other ways that we've committed to.
Ready. Next, we got set the mood with intention. So get some soft, warm lighting, candles. I love candles. Do candles, fairy lights, those like twinkly ones, hang them up in your bedroom. Choose a playlist, have music on. That's a great idea. That will set the mood perfectly. So choose music. Join our Facebook group. If you want our playlist, just search, I think just playlist, and you'll find it. Spray a comforting like smell. Maybe it's like you spray, perfume on the bed, or if you're not a perfume person, diffuse your essential oils, whatever you want to do. But just make it a cozy space. Make it a space that you actually want to go to and spend time in and just cuddle in. And, maybe you have sex. Maybe you're just together in the space. But I think that even provides opportunity for their prayers, for the non-sexual touching, for whatever it is. But at least you got the space set and prepared for whatever you want to do.
Smells are a good one. Sam and I have like a smell from our wedding day. Like we put on this special cologne and perfume on our wedding day, and she wore her wedding day perfume the other day. And I noticed something was different that day or that night, but I couldn't like quite figure it out. And then the next morning she's like, you didn't notice that I had my wedding day perfume on? I was like, I did know something was different. I did. I just couldn't figure out exactly what it was, but I did remember that something was different. You're right. I didn't say anything.
Oh man.
But yeah, smells are cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember Ken has this aftershave that smells like the cologne that he used to wear when we lived in Germany, like when we were dating and engaged. And he doesn't put it on very often. And whenever he does, it's like, whoa, like all of the feelings come up of like when we were engaged, and which is a good time because that was when we couldn't have sex. So the buildup was quite a bit at that point. So every time that cologne comes, I'm like, oh yeah, oh, this is very nice.
Cute.
Okay. I wanted to add with setting the mood. The book Awaken Love by Ruth Buzitz is an awesome one for women. And one of the challenges she sets at the very beginning, I think it's like, I don't know, maybe chapter 2, is making your bedroom a place that has no clutter. And like that's the whole challenge, is so that bedroom can be a good.
That's monumental for a lot of couples.
Kyle. Yeah. There's like pure panic on your face. You're like, I can't.
Hey, my side's clean. I'm not worried about me.
Yeah, and so she's like, you know what? If your bedroom becomes the place of retreat, becomes that place of Engedi and oasis, you're gonna naturally want to be there, and there isn't pressure as you're trying to build up to something else, going like, oh yeah, we still haven't done
Move
that.
the laundry hamper off the bed.
Yeah. So you can set the mood by just cleaning. That's what I'm saying.
Love it.
Both of you. Okay, step number 5 is slow down and savor each moment. So this one is kind of like that practicing mindfulness, right? Where you're paying attention to every sense. You can set a timer and spend that time, like only kissing. So no rushing to the next step, actually observing and going through, okay, like what am I feeling right now? What do I smell? What do I taste? What am I feeling on the lips? Going through and just appreciating your spouse in that moment. And trying to make eye contact too. Sometimes we just, whenever we're intimate, we just right away close our eyes. But actually, and the first time you start practicing that, it will feel weird. Because you're like, whoa, like, do you ever see in the movies them open their eyes when you're making
while they're kissing?
Yeah. Doesn't happen.
No.
But maybe once in a while, just take a peek, see how they're enjoying it.
Take a peek.
Next, read the Song of Solomon. If you are not familiar with this book is all about sex, or intimacy, I should say. But yeah, it's beautiful, intimate, sexual, and sensual poetry. And so I would encourage you guys to read, I mean, if you want to read the whole thing, but read a chapter, read a passage, read something from this book together, because it can really set the mood. And you guys could even take turns, pick out a passage or pick out a line that really spoke to you. Like, hey, I really like this. Like, this really, can you speak this over me? Like, your belly is like a heap of wheat. No, I'm kidding.
Don't say that.
Don't pick that one. That one is biblical context, not modern day context.
Heap of wheat.
But yeah, pick a passage, read it together. It can definitely be a mood setter for sure.
And we actually have a resource too called 31 Nights of Intimacy. Yes. This one is just for a wife, right?
No, it's for couples.
It's for couples.
It's like
there's a his part and a her part, and then there's a together.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've looked at it.
It's grounded in this book of the Bible.
And so it's really great, especially if as you're reading Song of Solomon, you're like, this doesn't sound sexy. Like what is it? The goats. And there's lots of laughable moments in Song of Solomon. You're like, what exactly are they trying to say here? Our 31 Nights of Intimacy kind of break it down into real language and how you can actually apply the two. And make it a realistic thing.
Yeah, the heap of wheat line is like, your navel is like a rounded goblet, never lacking wine or something. Like yeah. Context.
Yep.
Maybe don't send that as like a sexy text. I love that navel.
Yeah. Okay, I found the goat one. Yeah, your hair is like a flock of goats. Like that doesn't necessarily sound that.
No.
Wow, sweetie, thank you.
Wow, I feel so seen and treasured. My goat hair. All right, number 7. Try a new location. I think this is a great one. If you're just wanting to just do something little to take a step of branching out your sex life, if it's kind of you're like, okay, I feel like we're routine, we're just doing the same thing. Do a different location. I'm also going to change the time of day. To
nice.
this because I think that is also very fun because it switches things up. It kind of puts you in a different space, because maybe you always have sex at night with the lights off or whatever, but if you're having an afternoon delight, you don't have the unless you close your blinds and make it all blackout, but
Nah, who does?
Don't do that. I mean, depending on the position of your room, if privacy, but change it up. It can just really refresh things and add some excitement to something that might be feeling routine.
And if you have young kids and you're thinking like, oh no, I could never risk them coming in, you can take precautions. You can set up the baby monitor. You can
lock the door.
But if you're in a new location, like if you're want to try in the living room or the kitchen or something like that, like where it's not just a bedroom,
right?
Put up some obstacles. I was gonna say put up some obstacles. Put some dining room chairs, like in front of their door.
Crinkly water bottles or something on the floor, so that if they walk past it, then you'll hear it. Something like that. Set up a booby trap.
You can
put some Lego outside their door on the floor.
Yeah.
Real evil.
It just needs to alert you and give you enough time to wrap the blanket around you, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's literally all you need.
Yeah. And if you're worried, like if your kids are up and you are in the bedroom, it can be really fun to like see how quiet you can be.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
Yeah.
And lock the door.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a lock, get a lock.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Next one, breath and rhythm syncing. So before you guys have sex, or before you even start any foreplay, just lay together and sync your breathing and do nice, big, deep, slow breaths. And this can help calm your nervous system and actually helps you connect emotionally when you're doing something together like that. You can even try, then once you're into intimacy, you can try and match your breathing during too and see what that brings up. Something maybe new to try.
I've never done this. I saw this suggested, so I threw it in here. But I was like, I closed my eyes and I pictured myself just like matching my breathing with my wife before sex. And I was like, I could actually see that like maybe start to build up. Like I think I could see that being something.
Yeah.
So
I wonder too. Okay, so this is kind of a different thing, but the Bible app Dwell, they have breath prayers, and so I've been doing those in the mornings, and they set a timer for just 1 minute, and they tell you which prayer to do on your breathing in and then breathing out. Yeah. So if you're somebody who like fixates on breathing and like it will be just distracting by like, okay, I'm not matching, like my breath isn't fully out and I can see his is fully out, like I know I need to take a breath in. You could probably get a like breathing app or something that like helps you with where your breath should be so that you're not thinking about where you're at, where your spouse is at, trying to get it together, like pick a rhythm. Yeah. Or even soft music where you go every 4 beats is one thing. Sorry, maybe I just made it way more complicated.
No.
Just lay together.
I think it's good. Yeah.
A little bit, but it could be good. Yeah.
Also, if you're not using the Dwell app, I have started using it the last 6 months. Oh my gosh, like the best Bible app out there.
Good. I know. I love it.
And they partnered with the Bible recap, which my wife and I love. So we can just like play the audio Bible for that day's Bible recap. And oh, so good. We have a discount code in the comments or in the show notes if you want to check it out, because absolutely worth the however few dollars it is.
Yeah, totally.
All right, let's move on. Let's take another step up to level 2 here.
Okay.
So this is more, so the focus here is like more playfulness, variety, like kind of starting to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. So number 1, try a challenge, right? Try a sex challenge, try some sort of challenge where you commit to X amount of days, we're going to do something sexual or something intimate or something to connect with each other. We have a bunch of them. If you go to our website, we changed our website now. It looks awesome. Go to our shop. On the left-hand side, you can sort by challenges. So you can just click that. Boom. There's all of our challenges there. We have ones that range from 7 days to, I think our longest is 14 days, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Valentine's Day.
So grab a 7-day challenge. They're all like super affordable. Grab one. Do it, commit to it, and just see how you feel at the end of it. Kylan's guarantee. The way you feel about sex and your sex life before and the way you feel about it after, if you guys commit to it for the whole however many days it is, guaranteed something will be different in a positive way by the end of it.
Yeah, I think the benefit too of doing it is because each challenge we tell you what the instructions are. So if you're somebody who's a little bit timid and like you don't know you don't know what things you could do to spice things up or to change things up, and or you feel awkward bringing it up about like, well, do I want to see if they want to use a blindfold or something like that, like where it seems hard to bring up, or but this way you are told what to do, and you can modify it, by the way. You don't have to do exactly what we say, but it's kind of fun when you both are like, okay, well, let's see how we do this then, or like the different positions. Okay, well, this is what the challenge said, so let's just try it. It becomes like you guys are working as a team to accomplish something, and it brings out new, like, I think I can say confidently, all the sex challenges have some unique creative component to it. It's not just like, here's one position for tonight and then that's it. Like, no, it gives you more build up and different variety and things that you probably haven't thought of, especially if you're thinking level 2. If you're moving into level 2, you'll definitely find some new fun, spicy things to do.
Agreed.
All right. Next, we have love mapping. Ooh, that sounds very exciting. So one partner lies down while the other slowly traces their body with fingers, lips, or soft objects. Ooh, or maybe ice. You could go fun. You could go temperature.
Temperature's coming up. Don't spoil it.
Sorry. Oops, sorry.
That's only,
I didn't say that.
We're only level 2.
I'm sorry. But yeah, explore what feels good, especially when you think of like erogenous zones and you're like, oh, actually, when you put that by my neck, that was really nice. Or, oh, on the back of my knee, that was really nice. Whatever it is. But I would encourage you to, as your spouse is tracing your body or touching your body all over, say what feels good. If there's a spot you're like, oh, that was really nice, vocalize that in some form. And just the goal to just do that without rushing into having sex right away. Like, that can come. That's great. Do that if you want to. But just have it be something where like, okay, I'm going to trace over your body and we're just going to touch. I'll touch you and then you touch me and then see where it goes. Good idea.
Yeah, and I would say this is best if you guys take turns. Like, one partner do like the other spouse's full body, and then either, if that's like, if you guys are getting too excited, sure, go for sex, and then the next time switch. Or if you can do both partners in one night or one session,
just
go
both
ahead.
Lie down and try and reach each other as just do it simultaneously.
But we also have a really good guide for this. Like, we have a whole guide called Figuring Out What I Like. And if you don't know exactly what this looks like, or how to do this, or how to do it well, or how to do it completely where like you don't really forget anything, grab that guide. It's called Figuring Out What I Like, right? Yeah, so again, go to our shop. This time you got to click on guides. It'll show all of our guides. And this one is super helpful, where it will walk you step by step through the different types of touch, the different things to use, the different areas to touch. And it'll do primary erogenous zones, secondary erogenous zones. Like, we didn't leave anything out. So if you go through that completely, you will find new spots or new things or new ways to be touched that you enjoy.
Yeah, and I think in that one too, we have actually the body map on there so that you can actually mark like which parts feel good. So if you are worried like, oh, I'm not going to remember, you can mark it down there. And or if you want to do ahead of time, each of you mark where you think you're going to like to be touched and the places you don't. And then you compare and see like, okay, was that accurate? Was that not?
I like that.
So much stuff you can do. Doing surprise date nights. These are really fun. Where like one spouse plans a surprise date. You could even do this like maybe monthly and have, wife plans 1 month. So you just know that, okay, me as a wife, I have the whole month and I will randomly choose a day and totally plan that day. And it can be a total surprise for hubby on when or what it's going to be. And then that's nice because you have the whole month to plan. Like there's, and everything stays a surprise. And then you can tease it throughout the day. Like if it's something just in the evening or something like that, like write a note that says, meet me in the bedroom at 9 p.m. No distractions, just us. And just be creative with it. Like, even if it seems a little like exaggerated or you feel kind of laughing at it, I encourage you to just try because most likely your spouse is going to think that it's sexy. Yeah. So
definitely
like this is to help you get out of your comfort zone. It's not just like, hey, I can't wait to be, I'm trying to think of like a vanilla way. I'm looking forward to tonight. But even that, like that's a good step one, but try to be more specific, or, send some emojis with it that have innuendo, or, experiment a little.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you need help with date nights, man, I feel like this episode is like a sale, but honestly,
we did not plan this, by the way.
No. And this is our ministry, guys. This whole episode is the stuff that we want to help you with. So it makes sense that all of our resources are going to be in this episode, because this is where we want to meet you guys, whatever level you're at, to help take you to the next one, if that's where you want to go. So the surprise date nights, we are just starting putting out some date night. I don't even see date night because some of them are days, but date plans already done out for you. So you can head to our shop again. And you can pick and choose. And you can pick and choose what you want, like what kind of dates and stuff. Like it's not just like a mystery date and you click on it. You can see what the theme is and see if
mystery date's a good idea, though. I like that idea.
Do like a mystery bundle where we just do like 5 mystery dates. Oh man. Okay, future markdown. So I guess depending on when you listen to this episode, might see some surprise dates in there.
Yeah. It's good.
Cool. All right. The one Alana spoiled.
Yeah, sorry.
Experiment with temperature. I think you guys will be really surprised how temperature can affect things in your sex life. So you can go cold, and you can use things like ice cubes or ice pack if you don't want to deal with melted water.
You can even put an ice cube in like a Ziploc bag too, so that it's slowly.
Yeah. And then you can use warmth. So you can use a heating pad. You can even just the warmth of your breath. The warmth of your breath after the contrast of cold can be like a really alternating hot-cold touch to heighten the sensation. So try with temperature. I think you will be pleasantly surprised how temperature feels on your body when it comes to pleasure.
And the warm things, I mean, you can do, experiment with food stuff. So like chocolate sauce, and heat that up, or coconut oil. You can heat that up. Mix coconut oil and chocolate.
Sam did that the other night, not in a sexual way, but
we're like, whoa.
No, she got this. I think she just got chocolate chips, and she put coconut. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm making chocolate sauce. It's like, for what? She's like, I'm dipping my strawberries in them. Okay, like this is totally something I've never seen you do before. It was so good. Like, I'm not a chocolate person, but that was delicious. And if you need cold food, like whipping cream is cold.
Cold chocolate sauce. You got like that Nesquik.
Harden.
Nice.
Oh, hard.
The stuff at the back of your cupboard that's been there for 2.5 years.
Calling you out.
It's okay. That's us. That's why I said that.
Oh. All right. Next, we've got a 30-minute makeout challenge. Set a timer for 30 minutes where you only kiss and touch above clothing like teenagers again.
Hopefully not again. Hopefully you didn't do that.
Oh, right. I mean, making out like a teenager, sure. This rekindles the excitement of, that fresh, exciting, I don't know, early dating days of just making out all the time. Maybe you do that as a married couple, and kudos to you. If you kind of lost that a little bit, I think especially often, I think now as married people, it's like, oh, if we're making out, we're having sex. Like that's just X, Y, Z. This is how it goes. That does not have to be the case. So highly encourage you to make out other times, because it's just fun and doesn't have to lead to sex every time. It can just be a fun way to connect and be fun.
Yeah. Also, 30 minutes is a long time.
That's
so
a really
it doesn't
long
have to be
time.
30 minutes, but like if you try this, 30 minutes is a long time. So maybe start like 5.
Yeah. I was gonna say, your lips will probably be pretty
wet,
swollen,
raw. It's also fun sometimes to do like some sort of big makeout session earlier in your day. with the intention of sex being at the end of the day, right? So it warms you up already thinking like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight. And be like, okay, this is our day. We're starting with the makeout in the morning and then finishing at the end.
Maybe it's like 30 minutes cumulatively through the day. So it's like 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes when I see you here, 10 minutes here.
Set your timer every time.
Stopwatch on.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, or you like have like a hard candy that you're sucking on that you go in between, and you like that would take a long time to dissolve. Anyway, all right. This one's kind of fun and might get you out of your comfort zone, but writing down what your ideal sexual experience with your spouse would be. And then you each read it to each other. So you could write down, anything that you can think of, and definitely the more detail, the better. So if you're like, oh man, I have no idea what that would be. Like start off simple. Like, what are you both wearing? Where are you? What does it smell like? And then start, where do you want to be touched? Who is doing what to who, and how are you undressing each other? And how do you each finish? And what happens at the end after everything is done? This is maybe give yourself a timer or something so that you have a set amount of time to write these out, or have it as like the beginning of the day. You set this challenge like, okay, at some point in the day, let's have it done, and tonight let's read them together, so that you know that your spouse is thinking about it during the day. It's building that anticipation for the evening when you read it together.
Or even go longer than that. Like if this is something you've never done before and you're like, I don't know, maybe say like, okay, by the end of the month, let's have this done. And then we'll set like a date night that night, and then we'll read it to each other. Because if you've never done this before and you don't know, like maybe you're really newlywed, or maybe your marriage has just been, I don't know, maybe this is completely brand new. Give yourself as much time as you need, because I think this is one of the more important ones to do. And again, like the more detailed you can be in this, the better it will be for yourself, because you'll know specifically what you like, but the more turned on your spouse will be listening to it.
Yeah, that's great.
And women, we're generally more turned on by words than we are with pictures. And so men, that's a good incentive to do it well, write it well, with lots of detail.
All right, let's move into level 3. So the focus here is, okay, we're going to like up the intensity. We're going to get really emotionally and physically and sexually vulnerable, and we're going to try to like maximize pleasure and connection here. So number 1, edging and anticipation. So if you guys are having sex or foreplay or intercourse or whatever the sexual activity is, don't finish. Kind of get to that point where you're close to finish and then back off. And do that, more than one time. And it really will build the anticipation, and it will make that orgasm or that climax, it'll stronger. And it can build a really deep connection between you guys. And you'll also learn your spouse. You'll learn like, okay, maybe they do the same thing right before orgasm each time, or maybe they make the same sound, or maybe they whatever before orgasm each time. It'll be a good learning experience. And it'll also teach you self-control. So if you're a guy, especially, who struggles with premature ejaculation, this is really helpful for you. Get to right before that point of no return, and then back off. And usually backing off means like you have to just stop everything. Like if your wife is on top, you have to tell her like, stop, don't move, don't do anything. Because the smallest movement can push you right back to that point of no return, and then you're gone. Or another way, man, we need to do an episode on premature ejaculation. But anyways, another way you can do it is if you get your wife to inflict like a tiny bit of pain, that can stop. So whether this is like a pinch, if you get your wife to give you like a pinch either on the thigh, one recommendation I saw said to pinch your scrotum a little bit, because that'll get right to the genitals to stop. So if you can use pain to your advantage in this sense, anyways, we'll talk way more about this if we do an episode
consent.
On it. Yeah, of course. Sure this is something you talk about beforehand. Like, hey, I need you to
hurt him.
No, this is something you talk about beforehand, where it's like, okay, in this situation, I don't want to finish early. I need you to blank. But yeah, this edging and anticipation will help teach self-control as well as strengthen the orgasm when you guys let it happen. But maybe talk about this beforehand. Like, okay, we're going to edge 3 times before we finish, because it might be too hard to communicate that during.
Yeah, there you go. All right, next, intentional fantasy exploration. So have some time where you guys are talking openly about your desires or playful scenarios that excite you both. Highly encourage you to be prayerful and mindful as you're doing this. This isn't something that, or make it something that is still God honoring. This isn't just some, oh, I've had a fantasy about something XYZ, and you're like, oh, that's not something we want to do in our bedroom, or I encourage you to have that conversation, one, with a posture of being curious, and two, without being judgmental. If your spouse says something and you're like, oh, that's gross or weird or whatever it is, like just take some time maybe beforehand to think your thoughts through and plan how you want to have the conversation. And just maybe have it back and forth. You're like, hey, what about this? And then, oh, what about this? And I don't know, just be intentional about how you're talking about this in a way that is still God honoring and protecting your spouse and your marriage. So set clear boundaries so that both partners feel safe and respected in the process.
Yeah, I think what you said about the way that the receiving spouse reacts needs to be emphasized like a lot, because if your spouse says something to you and your reaction is like, ew, no, that is going to kill your spouse's creativity, adventurousness, whatever it is. Like that is going to really hurt. So even if you have that feeling, maybe say, that's something we could talk about again in the future, or have some more neutral response than,
or can you tell me more about it? Like,
Sure.
Make it maybe insecure, like ask some questions. Like, can you tell me more about what that would look like practically? Or, where you kind of break it down further, because maybe there's some misunderstanding and they say something and you're like, what? And it's like, no, I don't mean it like that. I mean it like this. So yeah, be curious about it.
Yeah. And this is where it's hard, because if you guys know each other really well, you'll, based on what your spouse's reaction is, even if they give like, oh, okay, so maybe
that'll tell you all you need to know.
Before you start, think ahead internally what your response is going to be if it's something that makes you feel like, oh, that's weird. Okay. Yeah. And being curious about it is probably the easiest way to stay honestly neutral about it and give a good reaction. Okay, another one can be like a no hands challenge. So you can agree for like 5 to 10 minutes or so that you cannot use your hands. So you can only use your lips, breath, or body. No hands to touch your spouse. And then you can take turns being the giver or the receiver. So yeah, you can do this multiple ways. If you want to start out the day, even just building the anticipation of like, okay, we're not allowed to use our hands on each other. You're in the morning, you're making breakfast or whatever. You can't use your hands to touch your spouse, only your bodies. And then, when they come home from work, same thing. You can kiss or whatever, but your hands, stay behind your back. All that to anticipate later tonight, and I'm kind of assuming you are naked because you can't really take your clothes off without using your hands. Or maybe that's part of the challenge.
There you go.
Yeah.
But thinking about it more during the day, and it's maybe someone's listening, they're like, we don't use our hands on each other anyway. We go through our mornings and we don't even touch each other, like until it's like goodbye.
That alone.
So maybe use your hands. if this is like, you're like, we never use our hands on each other. Okay, maybe start there. Maybe actually start touching each other a little bit more. If this is the opposite problem you have, where you're like, I don't think to just touch him as I'm walking by. Okay, try and be intentional about it. Rub their back as you're walking behind them. Put your hand on the small of their back, or, hold them close. Or you're sitting on the couch, put your hand on their leg. If that's something that's not maybe happening, get intentional about that as well.
Except all those things use hands. So for this particular I know.
I'm just saying, if you're like, I don't ever use my hands, try doing that as well. Try the opposite version of this as well.
Yeah. this kind of activity is very similar to the things that we create for you in our Unite and Ignite subscription. So if you haven't heard of that, it's our monthly, like where we send you a daily email that gives you a prompt on what to do to focus on intimacy with your spouse that day. So it's not all sex, but it reminds you about the connection you and your spouse have. So something like this would be on there. And then we have like a spice it up option on there too. So it can be more sexy. So this just like allows you to remind yourself like, oh yeah, me and my spouse are not just roommates. Here's how to help continue to build that intimacy every day. So that's another thing not found in the shop, but instead found in our club. So click on our club when you get to our website and it's all listed out there.
Awesome. All right. Number 4, extended foreplay night. So dedicate, or it doesn't have to be night, I guess, but dedicate a time where you guys are going to be sexual together and only do the foreplay stuff. Or a better way to say it is just no sex that night. So bring each other to orgasm without having intercourse. So you can, whatever, hands, mouths, toys, whatever you guys want to use, do all the non-intercourse things to help get your spouse there. So I won't get into this too much because we have a whole episode on intimacy without intercourse, episode 190, if you want to go check that out. But yeah, that episode will have way more detail on what this looks like.
There you go. Next, we have the forbidden rule. So pick one action or area that must not be touched, of course, with mutual comfort and consent here, until given permission. So the restriction can help increase desire. So what's an example of like, don't touch my boobs? Like, is that kind of a vibe? Like you go like that? Okay.
Yeah, like if I'm going to serve my wife, it's like, okay, boobs are off limits. Or no boobs and no tongue. So you got to use hands and whatever else. Like you pick some things that are forbidden, and because it's that whole idea of you want what you can't have, right? So it'll build that desire of like, oh, I really want to touch her boobs right now, or I really want to kiss her neck right now, or whatever it is. And then when your spouse gives permission, then you just get in there.
You should make a homemade sex dice. You know, like you can make a little cube, a paper cube, and then write all the different body parts or something. And then that way it's kind of fun because it's a mystery which part it's going to be maybe for each of you.
Right.
That's easy.
And if you're too lazy, there's like a bajillion of them on Amazon. We can link one in the show notes for you, but yeah, they're super affordable.
Yep. Okay. And lastly, you can incorporate a mirror. So try being intimate in front of a mirror. This is definitely something that if you haven't done is definitely different because you imagine what you guys look like together, then you actually see it in real life. It can be cool because you get to see your spouse's reaction maybe in a different light that you haven't seen, depending on what positions and stuff you like. It can be when you use a mirror, and I'm like, for women, this can be hard because of our insecurities of our bodies sometimes, but try not to think of any of that and just think of how special it is that God made you guys to be able to do what you're doing and really start focusing on like, okay, how do I feel with him doing this? To me, like this feels so good, and try to think of it in a more sensual way, that this, by viewing it in the mirror, is going to be more of a turn on for you.
Yeah.
So
I think too, if you're a woman who struggles, especially like getting out of your head during sex, this can be really helpful because you're like, you have no choice but to like, I mean, obviously you look away, but you're seeing it. And so that is putting your head, like your mind, you're thinking about what is happening. You're not thinking about the grocery list. You're not thinking about XYZ. You're like, okay, no, it's like putting you right where you are. And so if that's something you struggle with, would highly encourage you to try this out.
Sweet. I think this is going to be super helpful. I hope you guys found this helpful. Even in preparing this episode, I was like, oh yeah, that would be like super fun to try. Never tried that. So there's got to be something in here you guys have never tried that would help your sex life and bring you guys closer together in your intimacy. So hopefully it was helpful. And yeah, we always love you guys' feedback. So if you guys have some feedback on this episode, like let us know. Like, hey, that was really helpful. We tried that. Everything that you guys share with us is always anonymous. We're not going to like post it or anything unless you give us permission. So yeah, we love the feedback. And if you found this helpful, I bet you a friend would find it helpful. So send it to a friend. Send it to a girlfriend, ladies, guys. Send it to your guys group, your Bible study, whatever. Like share it with someone that you think it would benefit from it. All right, I'll pray for us. God, thank you so much that you gave us this beautiful gift of sex and you made body parts that are just there for pleasure. And you gave us this beautiful pleasure bomb of orgasm and how it's just a pointer to what eternity will be like with you. And it's not even going to get close to the pleasure that is going to bring in such a different way. So thank you for this amazing gift. Thank you for all the couples that are listening, and would they be willing to try new things and serve their spouse in a new way and just bring a new level of selflessness into their marriage. Amen.
Amen. Hey friends, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like our content, please like, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts, and tell your friends too. Thanks so much for journeying with us today as we tackled the hard questions and dive deep into godly intimacy. Make sure you follow us on Instagram to see more of our content, and check the show notes for any links we might have mentioned in today's episode. We're so grateful to be on this journey with you, and we can't wait to see you in the next episode.